This is the Mindful Witchery podcast with your hosts, Lori Allen and Sarah Frye, just two New England ladies talking about everything. Take a deep dive with the ladies into the world of New England witchery, travel, adventure, and a little bit of everything in between. You can now find the Mindful Witchery podcast on Apple, Spotify, Google, and Amazon. Hey guys,
Hey.
Sarah here.
Hi, I couldn't even wait, man. Hi, it's Lori.
We're just so excited.
Frantic, yeah. ADHD's kicking in. The tea is kicking in.
How are you, Lori?
I am wonderful, Sarah. I think this is a great time to be able to catch up with everybody because I think everybody's going through the same sort of weirdness of this time of year.
I think that should be the name of this episode is 2020 Weirdness.
You don't want me to tell my ketchup joke?
No, you should totally tell your ketchup joke.
This is a ketchup. This is a ketchup episode. I was just telling Sarah,
Oh.
Mama Tomato and Baby Tomato were walking down the street. Baby Tomato's lagging behind. Mama Tomato looks back and says, "Ketchup,"
And I've never heard that before.
because it's really stupid. That's why you never heard it before. It's really stupid.
Oh
But
my
yeah,
God.
everything this time of year it's a weird time. It's a transition. It's transitioning into the dark months. It's the hours are weird. It's getting dark early.
Yeah. Finals.
Finals. My son is getting his driver's license.
What?
And it's my birthday week next week.
Oh my God. Yes. Oh my God. I totally forgot, Lori. I'm the worst friend.
Oh, you're not.
I'm the
When
worst.
you get to be as old as I am, it's not something you really think about that much. I always had birthday weeks
Yep.
until recently, and then it's just been like crazy. But
Oh no, take your birthday week.
yeah,
That's what I did. It was the best thing I gave myself all year.
Oh my gosh! And next week's not going to be. This week has been totally frantic with doing meditation classes and all that, and so it's been crazy. But I'm starting to settle down and settle into to some sense of normalcy now. We've had some adventures. My husband and I've had some lovely adventures up on our property. And I know I mentioned that we bought some property up in New York in the Catskills, and it's our retirement dream come true. And it's a blank piece of land. There's nothing on it. It's just a piece of land, and we're going to build a house. And we have a 5-year plan. When our boys graduate from high school, we're moving to the Catskills, and it is going to be the home of Mindful Witchery. So, we were up there. I have to tell you, Sarah, this is the weirdest thing. We were up at the property the other day. It was snowing and raining. It was gross. We weren't able to do a whole lot. We've been building some steps, some natural steps going down
They're gorgeous.
into the meadow.
I saw a picture.
My husband is he's a great
Where
little
did
engineer.
he come from? Like every time you come up with an idea, and I come back to your house and it's done.
He manifests it. I mean, I want a new table, and here it is.
Done. Fireplace. Done.
Yeah. He's such a good, he's like the perfect guy. He really is. I lucked out because he manifests everything that I think of in my head that I could never mechanically do myself. But we were up at the property, and I hear my husband yelling from down in the woods, and it scared me. I thought he had fallen or something because it was slippery. I go down. I didn't run because I don't run. I walked. I sashayed down to where he was, and he had found an old well. Sarah, it's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. The artistry that went into this. This well is at least 100 years old.
That's amazing.
And, I mean, it wasn't pleasant that the first thing we found was a dead bunny floating around.
Yeah.
It was gross.
Not the best.
But, we took the shovel, we got it out, and we tossed the bunny. But this thing is made of rock. I mean, well-placed, non-adhered rock.
That's
All the way down. Somebody has gone to the bottom, dug out this well, found water, and literally stacked rocks for walls. It's at least 100 years old. I've been doing a little bit of research.
So what was covering it? Was it just like
It
a
was
rock?
a big flat rock.
Wow.
I think it was like shale, pretty much. But Roger when he pulled it back, there was a little hole that he saw in the ground, and he pulled back the rock, and there it was, just sitting there being beautiful. And the water's yucky, but I think that's because there was dead bunny in it. So we're going to have to go through the whole process of draining it, testing the water, letting it fill back up, all these different things. So I'm excited about it. I'm so excited.
You're so lucky. That's
Best thing ever. Best case scenario is it's drinkable. Worst case scenario, we use the water to water plants.
Yep.
And water our garden.
Win-win, I think.
Absolutely. And it's beautiful. And it also tells us that there's a homestead there somewhere. So we actually did find a foundation, a retaining wall. And I got so many good hints from this Facebook page called Things Found in Walls.
Send me that. I need
so
to go.
Cute, guys. It's the best. These people are wonderful. But they suggested that I look around in the springtime for lilacs, lilac bushes, because colonialists used to plant those bushes next to the outhouses so it would make the smell go away.
I've never heard of that.
Isn't that weird?
Now I'm going to look for is lilac bushes in the woods now, and then I'll know.
And to look for flowers that are placed, like intermittently apart, and then you may have a graveyard or a cemetery.
I hope you have a graveyard on
Can you
your property.
imagine if we have a cemetery in our yard?
Of
all people that
like
that
the
should happen to.
most random bit of land, and you have a well and a graveyard, and...
But the craziest thing about the whole thing is, I had been telling Roger, we had literally turned into the road that goes to our property, because it's in the middle of a dirt road. It's in the middle of nowhere. I could never give directions to it. Until we have a house on it, there'll be no directions. I'll just have to say you have to go this way and that way and the other way. But I was talking to him right before we got to our property about who are we going to get to dig a well. We need to look around here to find people who dig wells. And then sure enough, less than 10 minutes later, he was stepping on top of a well. It's like it manifested out of nowhere.
Popped out of nowhere.
And I had been saying from the very beginning, and this is not to tout my skills or anything, but I've been saying from the beginning, there has to be water. There's water here somewhere. I know there's water here. There's something here. And I've been saying that since we set foot on the property the first time. And Roger even had to admit, Roger the skeptic had to admit, he's like, yeah, you really have.
You felt it in your witchy bones.
And I'm a water witch, so it made sense.
I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, honestly, it is the greatest thing. It's the little slice of heaven that we've been looking for, and the most wonderful thing is when we went to look at it, I set foot out of the car, and immediately it was home.
Yep.
I love
that.
It was home. I mean, there's nowhere else. There's nowhere else I'd rather be. I love my house. I love my home where I am right now. But there is nowhere else I'd rather be than in that space. That is my bliss.
There's certain places that you can just feel. I have specific places in the world that the moment I got there, I'm like, I know this there's something here. And it's rare. But
it is rare.
When you find it, embrace it. It's awesome.
There was no way we were going to let this property slip through our fingers.
I'm so happy for you guys. How exciting. A good thing out of 2020, just you found this land. And
I can't wait. I cannot wait for you to see it. Honestly, Sarah. It is just the most amazing spot.
I need some peace and quiet, Lori.
You can just lay down in those woods anywhere and just...
In the snow. I don't care. I don't care how cold it is.
It's beautiful. And we have named it. It's called Locust Hollow because we have lots and lots of locust trees that we're using to build things. So it may not be Locust Hollow forever because there might not be any locusts left. But
I love that name so much.
Locust Hollow. It just came to me one night. I woke up out of a dead sleep and I punched Roger in the back and I said, Locust Hollow. Well, it started out as Locust Valley, I think. But then Locust Hollow seemed more appropriate. So it is Locust Hollow.
Oh no, it gives me goosebumps. I think that's... Yeah, I haven't even been there, and I'm like, I love it. I love
Locust
it so much.
Hollow, the home of mindful witchery. Guys, can you imagine the retreats we are going to have?
Yeah, we have big plans.
And the disruption my 70-year-old neighbor is going to have with this.
Oh.
That's been the best.
Guy.
That's been the best issue.
He has no idea.
You move into a place, you move onto a property, you grab a property up, and you think, oh, everything's going to be okay. Everybody knows where the land ends. No. Not at all. This guy's insistent that he owns land that is ours.
Yeah, how old is he?
He's like in his 70s.
Oh, yeah.
So, he's, I don't know. My husband
lived the same way for 70 years.
My husband has forbidden me to speak to him. He's like, I will talk to him. You are not allowed. because I just open my mouth and things come out.
Mm-hmm.
Things. And then I have to think to myself, did I say that or did I think it? And then I have to look at the person's face and go, oh, I said it.
Oh, no.
Oh, have you ever done that, guys? You think something and it comes out of your mouth? That's what happens to me all the time. I'm terrible with that.
Yeah.
But overall, it's paradise. It's
I
paradise. And in 5 years, it's going to be even a better paradise because we're going to be there full time.
Yeah, what's your plan with that?
5-year plan.
5-year plan.
We're going to throw a camper up there.
Yep.
For the first couple of seasons. And then we are going to start on our tiny house.
Yay.
We're going to start homesteading. It's going to be so cool.
Excited for you.
And when Matt will graduate from high school in 5 years. And once he's graduated from high school, we are going to move permanently up there.
I can't wait.
I'm so
excited.
And it's only 2.5 hours away from you,
not
Sarah.
that far.
So
yeah, and I don't know where I'm going to be. And that was that's part of it too. Like, who knows what's going to happen? Like, we're going to still be doing this.
Yeah.
But, I don't know where I'm going to live, Lori.
yeah, it's
I have no idea.
And you're younger than me, so it's like you have the whole world in front of you, like miles and miles and hundreds of miles of anything can happen.
Please tell me that. I need to hear that lately,
Yeah.
because I feel, I was talking to Lori about what we're going to talk about in this episode, and I have been feeling so burnt out, you guys. So burnt out. And I can't even really put into words. And just you saying that, I'm just like, you know what? I am young. I'm still young. It's fine.
Do you think that it has something to do with the time of year? I think sometimes our bodies know when to shut down.
Yes.
Like plants go dormant.
Hermit.
Do we go dormant?
I wish we did.
I mean, it makes you
I
seriously,
need to hibernate.
there's plants out here right now that have gone dormant, that are bulbs that just are doing nothing right now, but
That's how I want to
sleep.
be. That's how I'm feeling. And this isn't just because of 2020.
Mm-hmm.
This is every year. Around this time, it's a stressful time.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be, but the reality
It is.
is in my life, it is. And, as much how great it is to see family and run around, get people presents, do good, it's still very stressful because on top of that, you still have to live your life.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this year, we've talked about other episodes how lucky we've been about 2020 and all the things happening, and I think it hit me later. I still feel very fortunate, but for some reason some of the things didn't hit me till this month.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it has a lot to do with the amount of stress I've been under, because it's actually finals right now, so I'm going
And
to
that's
finals,
a lot.
and that's a lot, and I'm taking 5 classes like a crazy person.
So 5 finals.
So I have 5 finals on top of having homework still for every week of this finals, and quizzes on top, tests, and so on top of that, also the stress of the changing of the year, because my body is telling me something different than what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. And so my self-care lately has not been that great. I hate to admit it, but I wanted to talk about it because I feel like sometimes people feel like I'm able to handle stress better than I am. Maybe because it's just how I present myself. Mm-hmm. And I try to be really truthful about what I'm going through. But sometimes I present as this super happy, bubbly person, which I am. But,
she is.
But at the same time, I actually really struggle with depression. Mm-hmm. And so when I get really stressed out, it comes back. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's what I've been trying to navigate the holidays, navigate 2020, navigate COVID. Oh my God. And all the changes, and what else? I feel like there's something else that's been going on, but I don't know.
I think it's really wonderful to share things like this, because there might be a lot of people, and I'm sure I'm sure that there are a lot of people out there who are feeling just the same way you're feeling right now.
Yeah. And I feel like I have to explain it. Not, I love explaining it on here, because I want people to know, that you're not alone. But I feel like I have to explain myself sometimes when I'm acting a certain way that's not normal to how somebody sees me.
You're not fitting in the box.
Yes. Yeah. And I am a very happy person. I'm very upbeat. I love to have fun. And then there's this other side of me a lot of people don't see, which poor Carson gets to see is I really struggle with depression. I do have chronic depression, and I also have OCD. But I don't know if I've talked about any of this. Have I talked about this?
I don't think it's. I think we've touched on it, but not really talked about it.
Yeah, and I think even some people in my life don't know about my OCD because it's not apparent, because I have a control over it. So, but when I get stressed out, those things get worse. It makes it
exacerbates it.
Oh my God, yes. Because I feel like I'm losing control. So my brain starts getting really focused. So add ADHD on top of that, which I honestly think is what causes the rest of the things to be worse. Because when you're stressed, you can't focus. And when you can't focus, you get stressed. Or me, I get stressed.
See, I think your ADHD manifests very differently than mine. I think that when your ADHD kicks in, I think you almost get hyper focused. Where I am the opposite. I get flustered and everything just kind of dumps on me, and I can't find any way to focus on what I'm trying to focus on. Like right now, all I'm thinking about is I want a peppermint.
Yeah, you should have one. I saw them earlier, and I'm like, I really want
Guess that sound. What is that sound?
Oh, they're like the classic peppermint.
Oh yeah, and they're the chalky ones, not the regular peppermints, not the star mints, but the chalky ones. That
those are the best kind. I'm gonna steal one before I leave.
Oh my gosh! See, guess that sound.
ASMR, self-care. Yeah. Oh, but it just feels good to say it out loud and to share that, because I think I needed to.
Yes.
But part of the things that I'm going to school for is I want people to know that they're not alone, and to erase some of the stigma attached to learning disorders, even like cognitive disorders and any type of mental health. I feel like some people they hear ADHD and they view a certain thing, and I have it, and it went untreated for so long, and because of that it's actually gotten worse. So I would say this year it is the worst I've ever had it, and I can't put a finger on why, but when I'm stressed out this month, I've noticed this, like you were kind of saying, the way I deal with it is I try to control it, like it's not happening, and I try to hyper focus because I feel like I'm losing control, which elevates my OCD, and my OCD is mostly my thoughts. So I get really hyper focused and obsessive about things, and I can't see anything else, and they just keep building, and so that's what I'm going through. And it sounds
and that's hard, and
it's
hard. I'm sure that there are people out there right now who are listening who can completely identify with what we're talking about here. I mean, this cyclical kind of change, and this seasonal and cyclical kind of change that happens this time of year. And I know with manic depression, that's what happens.
Yes.
My brother is manic depressive, and this time of year he winds up. My mom's always said, he winds up this time of year, and troubles can happen when he goes manic.
Definitely.
So we have to keep an eye on him this time of year.
Yeah, and it's so important to have a support system. And I consider people who listen to this part of my support system now, because I feel like I can be myself. And if I just came on here today and was super happy and bubbly when I had all this underlying things going on, I wouldn't be authentic at all.
And we trust you guys. We trust that there are people out here who can identify with the things that we talk about, and that's why we choose to kind of expose and be transparent with any issue that we may have, and we trust you enough to do that. So we appreciate that.
Yeah. And I think the reason too, why we can talk about self-care so much is because I know for me it's because I know why I need it, right? I feel like I can talk about it and teach people about it because I also need it, and I also forget sometimes I need it, which that's how I learn. Is same right now I've been doing good self-care, but I'm okay, I know the tools.
And you're conscious of the fact that you're not doing good self-care.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people don't. A lot of people aren't conscious of that, and they just keep winding down and winding down and spiraling until they're a lump on the floor, and they don't know why. But it's such a good idea, guys, and that's one of the biggest parts of mindfulness, and one of the things that Sarah and I teach is mindfulness
Mm-hmm.
and changing your behavior in order to be able to recognize when you need help, when you need self-care. Because if we can't love ourselves and we can't take care of ourselves, we can't take care of anybody else that comes along.
Yeah, 100% on that.
And I'm a nurturer.
Yeah.
And so, please note the sarcasm in that. I'm not a nurturer. I'm not a nurturer at all. I'm surprised that my children have lived up to this point. But, I'm not a nurturer. And but I do know how to spot the signs when somebody really needs to think about themselves. And we don't do a lot of that. We're in frantic panic mode right now with COVID because the cases are increasing. Massachusetts is number 5 in the country for increases in COVID.
They just went back on the phase 3. I think something happened recently.
Yep, it's terrifying. I mean, it really is. And we're all living in this time where it's hard. We can't see what's going to happen next. And I think that's scary for most of us because we like to be able to put things in perspective. We like to be able to compartmentalize and departmentalize things. And we like to look forward and be able to see what's going to be down the pike. And we can't do that now.
We cannot.
And the best thing you can do, if you can't move forward, if you can't see forward, stay in the here and now.
Yeah. Don't move back.
Don't go back.
Don't do what I did lately.
Don't go backwards because then you have regrets.
Yeah.
Don't move too far forward because you get stressed out about what might happen. Live in the here and now. Give yourself.
You can't really live in the future right now.
No. Because none of us know. None of us know. I mean, my mother, I know, I've told you, and I'll tell you guys, my mother is very sick right now. She's in the hospital. And there is a chance that, this isn't gonna turn out well. My mother's 82 years old, and right now we're wrestling with the idea of whether we can go home or not because of COVID. And it's really a hard decision to make because you weigh the cost of not being able to be at your mother's bedside against needing normalcy for your kids and your own self, because this is where my life is. My family lives 850 miles away, and my life is here. My life with my husband and my children. We have a daily life, and we don't want to get sick, and we don't want to make my mother sick.
Exactly. Yeah.
So where is the compromise? Where do we make that decision? How do we make that decision? And I know that all of you are wrestling with decisions out there because of this virus and everything that's happening with it. So
it affects everyone.
It affects everybody.
Everyone. And like the butterfly effect. It affects one person. It affects everybody.
That's cause and effect. This is, if no other time, it's important now to remember that every decision you make affects somebody else.
Most definitely.
So, that's where you weigh the pros and cons, and you don't really know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen with my mother right now. So I have to kind of sit. I have to be still. My husband tells me that all the time. Those are his famous words is, Lori, sometimes you just have to be still.
Carson says that to me all the time. He's like, just sit down.
Yeah, just be still.
Stop moving. He's like, what are you doing right now? I'm like, go sit down.
Yeah. That's my husband. Thank goodness we are married to engineers and lovely men.
Very stable engineers.
Because like I said, I'd be some cult leader out in Arizona right now.
Oh yeah, 100%. That's what we'd be. Yeah, and like I'm so glad you said that about your mother too, because it just puts things into perspective. Like so many people are struggling, and like I think struggling is a good word. I wish I had a better word.
We are all struggling,
and I know for me, I hate to admit to myself when I'm struggling. I hold off. I'm like, nope, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, that's me. I'm good. And when I say I'm good, that's Roger's cue that I'm not good. Yeah. If I say I'm good, he knows I'm not good.
I get the side eye. Like, no, you're not. I can see it in your face.
And then I flap my hand up. And I'm like, I'm good.
I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, and I'm not good.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm not good. And if I feel better by saying that. And it's okay to not be good.
Exactly.
It's okay to be vulnerable. And I'm practicing what I preach. Because I look at people all the time and I'm like, oh, I feel for you so much. Like, don't be ashamed of having ADHD. Don't be ashamed of having a learning disorder. But why can't I give that to myself?
Yeah, we are our own worst critics.
Oh,
that's why.
We
are harder on ourselves than we can ever be on anyone else in our lives, even people we don't necessarily like.
Yeah.
We are better to them. We are better to people we
we
don't
are to
like than we are to
ourselves.
ourselves.
Yeah.
And so, at some point, we have to understand and be conscious of the fact that we can't love anybody else unless we love ourselves.
Yeah.
Not truly.
Yeah.
We can't be responsible for anybody else's happiness. We have to be responsible. Happiness comes from within. I know that sounds cliche. I know it sounds cliche, but it's true. And it's it's Buddhism 101 detachment theory. You cannot be made happy by somebody else. You can't make someone else happy. You're responsible for your happiness. And in that, you spread that happiness to other people.
Exactly. And if happiness is making other people happy, then it's going to be temporary if you don't love yourself, if you don't take care of yourself.
Find your bliss. Find what makes you happy. Find what makes you able to transcend the sadness and the negative energy and go with that.
And it's one step at a time. Like, you can't just, like, I know what you're talking about, but like, so in my negative brain right now, like my depression brain, I'm like, well, how am I going to do that when I'm feeling so down? But like, really, it's like one step at a time.
And it's an internal struggle.
One step at a time. And you're going to take 2 steps back, take 2 steps forward, and like 1 step forward. And, life isn't easy. But it's like, I know for me, I have so much bliss in my life, right? Like,
we're so blessed.
Oh my God, I have so many good things. So it's like almost like I blame myself for feeling like garbage. I'm like, this is my fault. And it wasn't until this year, honestly, that I'm like, I have a chemical imbalance. It's like I finally, even though I knew logically, like I admitted to myself, you have a chemical imbalance in your brain. You have ADHD.
It's like having Lyme disease. It's like having diabetes.
Yeah.
Well, I can't go there because that's, I don't know. There's choices made, in some cases, not type 1, but there's, I don't want to go there. So it's like having any other type of medical issue. It's, and for some reason, because it's not visible, because it's not a broken arm or a broken leg or a rash or, some type of physical feebleness, people don't recognize it. And that's what we struggle with any type of a mental illness is it's not visible until it is.
Until it is. It's like you don't have enough willpower. And it's sad that these are the things I tell myself, but the things I know, it's like you don't have enough willpower, you're not trying hard enough. Just will it away. You just need to be more positive.
You just will away that broken arm.
If somebody tells me you just need to be more positive, I'm just gonna slap them in the face.
You need to be more positive, and that broken arm will heal.
Oh my God!
You need to be more positive, and you won't have sciatica anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same
It's the
thing.
same thing.
And we can't see it because it's not there to see. And then when somebody does have a break, you say, they're weak.
Yeah, they're weak. Or if they get better, they're like, see, all you had to do was
have a positive attitude.
Get back to work and be positive. Yeah. No, it's actually, look it up, WebMD. Just look it up because it's chemical imbalances in the brain. And trust me, if willpower was the cure, I wouldn't have these issues anymore. Like, resilience is awesome, but it only brings you so far.
And for some people, just like with for some physical manifested disorders, I shouldn't say disorder, but health issues, when it manifests, it's so hard to see. I mean, like I look at my brother and the things that have come out of his mouth during the times when he's cycling through, and I can't feel anything but just complete and utter sorrow and compassion for him.
Yeah.
The same way I would feel if he was missing a leg.
Yeah. Yep.
It's the same, and I can't emphasize that enough. It's the same thing.
It's the same thing. Yeah.
But yet we judge.
Yeah.
We judge people with mental illness. We judge, and we say, things like you said, you just got to be more positive. And you know what? There's a huge difference between being depressed and having depression. That's the other thing that kind of blows my mind sometimes is that's where that thing comes from. You just got to be more positive. You got to get out here and meet people. You got to do this. You got to do that.
Go outside.
Yeah, go outside.
I'm like, I'm lucky if I could get out of bed.
If I'm depressed, then that might be the solution to my problem. Being depressed is temporary.
Mm-hmm.
Depression, you deal with on a daily basis, on a minute-to-minute basis, for your entire life.
For your entire life.
So, folks, there is a huge difference between somebody saying, feel sorry for me because I'm depressed, and having depression.
Yeah.
Two entirely different things.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so glad you brought that up. I'm so glad you brought that up. And the same thing with, this is off topic, but narcissism. Mm-hmm. People are like, oh, that person's narcissistic. I'm like, God, no, that person has narcissistic personality traits. Being diagnosed with narcissism completely, like, it's same, but, it's...
And have you noticed that's the buzzword now?
Oh.
Narcissistic, and I don't know whether it's because of our president or what, but narcissism and sociopath are the two buzzwords right now. I know someone who uses those words on a daily basis.
I'm like, you don't even know what it means.
You don't even know what it means.
Yeah, that's a serious diagnosis with people who are real people.
Yeah.
And,
guys.
Oh, the one that gets me, I'm so glad we're talking about this. The one that gets me the most is OCD.
Oh, yeah.
And I used to do this so I can say it, like, I say, I just have... OCD.
Oh, that's my OCD kicking in.
Please, if you do that, don't. If you've never been diagnosed, it's serious. Mm-hmm. Like, OCD isn't just about cleaning.
Or turning on the light switch.
And turning on the light switch on and off.
times.
No, it's so much more than that. And for some people, it could be life-threatening. Mm-hmm. You can hallucinate. Mm-hmm. You can, the whole different topic, but for me, it manifests, I have, moderate. It gets worse, when I get stressed, but mine's, a little bit of cleaning, but it's mostly internal. Mm-hmm. So it's OCD with my thoughts.
Yeah. And that's where OCD really takes a turn from joking around and saying, oh, that's just my OCD kicking in, to something that is very serious and can be very damaging.
Yeah, and if I let it go, if I didn't know how to take care of it, it could be all-consuming. It could be all-consuming, and I have to constantly watch myself, tapping things before I leave rooms, certain rituals. I have certain rituals that I allow myself to keep it at bay.
Sure.
But if I let myself, I would obsessively touch things all the time, which I kind of do, but I let myself. I'm like, okay, done. So we just paused for a second because Lori got a phone call and some good news.
Got some good news, guys. And it's interesting. We were just talking about my mother because my mother is now lucid and she is talking and she recognized my brother and she is doing much, much better today. I neglected to mention that she went to the doctor or back to the hospital the other day and my brothers thought she was having a stroke. And it turns out that she had 0 potassium. I don't know if any of you knew. I've talked to so many people about that who said, I had no idea. And this is when people come out of the woodwork and tell you, oh, yeah, your aunt died because she dropped dead in the kitchen and they found out she had 0 potassium. Jesus. Or things like that. You don't know these things until until people speak up. I had no idea.
Wow.
But yes, my mother had 0 potassium. And the interesting thing is, my mother knows about her potassium level and she takes blood pressure medication, so it sucks up the potassium. Yeah. So my mother is diligent about eating a banana every day. Mm-hmm. But she's been sick. She's not been feeling well. Oh. So she's not been eating, and she's only been drinking water and Sprite.
Oh, no.
And so the doctor said it basically just diluted her intake of all of the minerals that she needs. But now her potassium level's coming back up. And guys, I didn't realize that was such a huge, serious thing. Mm-hmm. It caused my mother to be delusional. Yeah.
Potassium's so important.
Yeah. I mean, almost violently delusional. She pulled her IV out last night. Kidding. So they had to restrain her. Wow. And the doctor said it is all the potassium. That's what this is causing. Yeah. And sure enough, today she's lucid. She's eating applesauce, sitting up like a queen. The queen that she is, and is doing just fine.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad.
I mean, we were. The doctor said that is fatal.
It is, most definitely.
That they were lucky. My brothers recognized the signs of what was happening. I mean, they recognized the signs of a stroke, but still, they got her to the hospital. She got the attention she needed. The only scary thing is she's in intensive care with 8 COVID patients.
Oh, no.
So, but I saw pictures, and she's wrapped up. Like, you know that show, The Boy in a Plastic Bubble?
Yes.
That's my mother right now.
Oh, my God.
The Grammy in a plastic bubble right now. I hate to make fun, but it's a serious thing. So.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so glad she's okay.
So
awesome.
A shout out, and I know you're not listening, but a shout out to the nurses at Caldwell Memorial Hospital. A shout out to the doctors that have worked with my mom. It looks like we're turning a corner, a positive corner, and I couldn't be happier and couldn't feel more blessed with the medical staff that's been working with her.
That's amazing. Thanks,
and
guys.
my brothers. And I know they're not listening because they don't know how to use the internet. But I love my brothers dearly, and they take care of my mother, and they do a great job.
Oh, that's so great, Lori.
So blessings.
Yeah. Wow. After my depressing story, that's really good.
But I'm so glad that you talked about it, Sarah.
Yeah,
it's so important.
Me too.
And I think the biggest part of it is knowing that you talked about it and you don't feel alone.
No.
But also people out there who are suffering with cyclical seasonal depression.
Yeah.
Who don't know where to turn and don't know where to go. Guys, shoot us an email.
Yeah, I know a lot of local resources, even more global resources. BetterHelp is a great resource. And I know the tricky part is a lot of people don't have insurance, which is really scary. And I get it. I've been there. But there are resources out there for free help. There, especially on the internet. We're so lucky.
Absolutely. My brothers need to learn to use the interweb.
Yeah, we're so lucky to be able to have a support network online. People that are going through the same thing. Honestly, I use Reddit a lot. There's some really great forums there about ADHD. I've learned so much about myself and just knowing that you're not alone. There's actually some really wonderful professional, mental health therapists on YouTube even. Really. Like, I've listed, Katie Morton is one. I think I've mentioned her before. She's wonderful, but...
And everybody, I think right now in this stage of the game with COVID, I think a lot more people than even usual are feeling alone.
Yes.
I mean, I consider myself really lucky because I'm here all day with 2 kids. But at the same time, we also need, there's a difference between being alone and being lonely.
Yes. Yeah.
That's another important thing. I mean, to understand the difference.
Huge difference with that. Yeah. I mean, like, I feel alone when I'm around people.
Oh,
sometimes.
me too.
And it's like, has nothing to do with them sometimes, but it's like...
Sometimes it does.
Sometimes it does, yeah. I don't even know, like, how to even describe what it feels like to be... Like, I know what it feels like to be lonely with around people, but, like, it's almost like this numbness.
Yeah, it's like a wall builds up and nobody, no matter who they are, is going to penetrate that wall. And, if you find yourself in that kind of situation, reach out.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't say that enough. And maybe it sounds cliche at this point because we're always saying it. But there's always someone. Yeah. There's always someone
There's a door. There's a door somewhere. And if you don't feel safe enough to reach out to the people around you, like I said, the internet. And even if you have trouble getting out of bed, which I've been there. I've been there. Just put one leg from under the blanket. If that's all you can do, you did something. And I know it sounds silly, but read a book or...
divert your attention.
And I've said before, I'm not a mental health therapist. I have a lot of experience. However, I don't know where I was going with that. We're not mental health therapists. We're not doctors.
Exactly. So we're not advocating. We're not saying that. We're not advocating for specific therapies. Yeah. We're not doing that. But we are saying that there are people out there and there are resources that can help you find the right fit for you.
Most definitely. And those, I know some of it. Like, I know a lot of professionals that could lead you in the right direction. So please reach out if you're having a hard time, and there's phone numbers you can call. And I will actually post some of those links in our description on YouTube, like hotlines and things like that you can definitely call.
Because we love you guys.
Yeah.
And we want you to be safe, and we want you to be healthy and mentally and physically, and we want to see you be able to enjoy your life.
Definitely.
There are always pits in the road.
Always. Everybody goes through it.
But everything gets better. Everything. I know the perspectives are different from every different person, but things do get better.
Yeah.
And just know that during the holidays, you're not alone.
Oh, no. Not at all. Especially this one. It's weird. Like, Carson and I are staying home.
Weird. Yeah.
And you know what? We'd rather be around family. But we're embracing it. We're like, you know what? We've been wanting a holiday alone. And this is our opportunity. And we're going to make a huge... Actually, we are going on vacation. So Carson has a bunch of weeks off. After school, I have a bunch of weeks off. And that's what we've been both really looking forward to. Is taking some time to just be... And, like, we needed to do that. Like, I made him take a vacation because he needs it, too. And
Roger always takes this time because he always finds that he has hours that won't carry over.
Yeah, that won't carry over.
So they used to let them get paid for it.
Yeah, I know.
But now they have to use them.
They don't really do that anymore.
They have to use them, and so he's using up some of his time that he is so richly earned and deserved. And
I'm glad.
2 weeks, which I guess part of that time is going to be spent our way driving to North Carolina.
Yeah, so maybe you'll find some fun things on the way.
Oh,
Who
my
knows?
goodness. Oh, my goodness.
Who knows what will happen?
It is always amazing. It's always amazing. We get off the beaten path. We decide when we're done with the highway, we get off the beaten path, whether it's Virginia, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, wherever, and we find the weirdest things.
Yeah, that's what I do in Pennsylvania. Whenever I'm doing through Pennsylvania, that's usually when I'm sick of it. I'm just sick of driving. And I always just, like, get off the highway in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is fascinating.
Pennsylvania is such a huge state. Especially when you're driving south. You go through the long part of Pennsylvania. And it is forever long.
I don't think people realize how big it is.
Pennsylvania and Virginia, when you go the long direction, is so long and so just I don't even know how to explain it. I start to get, like, really... off my rocker.
Yeah. It's like you think you're out of it and you're only a quarter of the way through and you're like, what the hell? Because I've driven through it so many times.
The thing is about it, though, is we go through Pennsylvania and all the places I want to go are too far out of the way. They're either west or east.
Yep.
Most of them are west. Last time we went through, I wanted to go to Falling Water. Frank Lloyd Wright house.
Ooh, yes.
It's too far. It's too far northwest.
Yeah, it's, and I've actually lately been hearing of a ton of people moving to Pennsylvania because of the affordability of it. To, like, not necessarily, like, Pittsburgh or Philly, but, like...
Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania is a great town. I've been there, and it's right off the interstate. It's a great place to stop and have dinner. They have... I mean, it's getting to be a pretty grown-up town. It used to be much smaller than it is. But there's a lot of historical sites to see. They have a river common. It's nice. But if you just want to get off the highway off of 81, Wilkes-Barre is a good place to get off.
Cool.
And...
God, I miss traveling.
Oh, my gosh. And we went, and we didn't realize going through Pennsylvania that Lancaster, Amish country, was so far east.
It is.
From where we were. It took us forever to get there. Yeah. But we were determined that we were going to go to...
Oh, yeah. I'm so jealous.
And I have to say it, I'm going to say it, even if it's inappropriate. I know that my son DJ, my 16-year-old, was conceived in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. That is what I do know.
The magic of the Amish.
Roger came home from Iraq, and we took like a 5-day sabbatical to the Amish country where we knew, we could be alone. I guess you're pretty alone.
Yeah,
there.
You're pretty alone.
Yeah. And I can't believe I'm telling this story to you guys. This is ridiculous.
Hey, I got vulnerable, so you can too.
But it's a funny story because this little hotel, I couldn't find a place to stay because it was all booked up. So we stayed at this place just outside of Hershey, Pennsylvania, kind of in between Lancaster and Hershey. And it was this little motel. It was a motel.
Yes.
Motel. And I want you to think all that implies. Because the room we stayed in was literally called the Jungle Room.
Oh,
I kid you not. And it advertised that it had a jacuzzi. Well, there's a whole difference between a jacuzzi that's in a room and a jacuzzi that's outdoors. They got them confused.
Very confused.
It was literally an outdoor jacuzzi inside the room with plants hanging down from the ceiling.
What?
My child was conceived that week.
I love this.
I hope that one day he doesn't listen to this and freak out. When he's in therapy at 35.
Oh, we're sorry.
Sorry, dude. But I had to tell a story. My other one, I don't know where he was conceived.
He'll appreciate it years later.
Yes. I don't have a story about my other one being conceived. But yes.
Miracle of the Amish.
My oldest, it's the miracle of the Amish. Absolutely. That place is great.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's so great.
There's so many places that are so historical and like along the East Coast. We're very lucky.
We are so lucky.
We're so lucky.
Going down east, that whole trip down, we try to take different roads, but usually we do 81 to 77.
Yep.
We take the Taconic and then go 81 down to 77. And there's so much there in terms of history and everything. There's always something to do. But this time of year, it's the worst time to travel down there because there's nothing to do.
Yeah.
And it's cold and everything's closed. And everything's closed because of COVID. So we're not even gonna take the time to spend the night anywhere because we're afraid of getting COVID. We're gonna go get tested right before.
Yeah.
And go down, and I don't want to give my mother anything, so we're not gonna stop anywhere except to get gas, and I'm not getting out of the car.
No. It's so tricky now, and I think that's like the biggest thing. I miss big part of my life, and it's gonna sound so privileged, and I know it is my traveling adventures. It's probably like 75% of who I am as a person.
I feel the same way. I feel so blessed to have been able to travel as much as I have.
Yeah, and not being able to do that has been hard.
It's weird.
It's weird. I think it's more weird than hard. And
it is. It's just because if I'm at home for too long, like I'm at home all the time now. I work from home. I do Zoom meditations. I do Zoom play groups for the family center. And then my kids are home every day for school. So I'm home all the time.
Yeah.
And by the end of the week, I'm planning things. I'm going, my God, I need to go see Christmas lights. Yeah. Or like this weekend, I'm like, oh my God, Roger, I need to go see Christmas lights. And I don't want to go to Bright Nights.
Yeah, anything at all.
Take me to a neighborhood in Belchertown.
Yeah, I don't even care.
I don't care. They might have solar lights. I don't know.
I hear that so much. I went out yesterday, but it was the first time, I think, in 5 days. And I didn't even realize it. And I'm like, no wonder I was losing my brain. No wonder.
And that's the thing. Yeah. I love my house. I love being around my things. If I'm gone too long, I miss it. Mm-hmm. But I have to be out in the world interacting. Yeah. Even if I'm interacting in the woods with a tree, I don't care.
Who cares?
I have to interact with some living force. Mm-hmm. So
I am right there with you.
I've watched every episode of The Mandalorian.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet.
Oh my gosh. Baby Yoda, are you kidding me?
Oh, he's so cute. Yeah, I need to see it. We don't have Disney Plus, but
his name he has a name now.
Oh, does he?
Yes, his name is Grogu.
Oh my God.
Yes, because you met up with a Jedi, and I can't tell the story because some of you haven't seen it.
Yeah, don't tell me.
Oh, I can't believe I just said his name is Grogu. Forget I said that.
Yeah.
Pretend you didn't hear it.
All bleep it out. Boop.
Yes. His name is Boop.
I'll have a go-go murr.
All right, guys. I hope that in a lot of ways, by admitting these being transparent with you, that maybe we have connected with someone out there. Whether it's through Sarah's story or my story about conception, whatever. But just if you need someone, just reach out and hold on, because it does get better.
Yeah, well.
Whether it's funny stories or whether it's somebody you love being around.
If you need to watch Netflix for a couple days just to get out of the funk, let's say do it. That's what I do.
Absolutely.
Watch The Queen's Gambit. That's my recommendation.
So good.
That's my recommendation.
Good. That's mine too. We're going to do a double recommendation. Isn't she pretty?
Kirsten and I couldn't take our eyes off
She's got this little tulip nose and these
so
little
cute.
lips. Her lips are like...
I've never seen any... She's like a cartoon character.
It's like drawn on.
Oh my God, she's gorgeous.
She's
I loved every bit. I love all the characters, every bit.
Loved every minute of it. The Queen's Gambit.
Yeah, you don't need to like chess because...
Netflix.
Amazing.
And I am actually going to say another recommendation. Yeah. And I'm going to surprise you guys with this. I have an addiction. And I don't talk about it much. Because I'm a little embarrassed about it, so I don't talk about it a whole lot. But with you guys, I know I can tell you anything. I actually, every day at 1:30, turn on the TV, and I watch The Bold and the Beautiful.
What is that?
It's a soap opera.
Yeah.
Okay? I've been watching it since the very first episode. I don't miss. And if I do miss, I record it.
I didn't know this.
I'm obsessed with The Bold and the Beautiful. I don't know how many of you out there know about The Bold and the Beautiful. It's relatively new in soap opera history.
Huh.
I mean, it's been around for a long time, but relatively young in terms of soap operas like Young and the Restless, General Hospital, stuff like that. But I'm going to give a recommendation here. If you watch Bold and the Beautiful, you kind of know what's going on. But there's this actor on Bold and the Beautiful that plays a character named Thomas. Thomas has recently been going through some things. He fell and hit his head and ended up having a subdermal hematoma.
Oh, wow.
But he didn't know it. So he was hallucinating. He was doing things that people just didn't understand. And they were getting frustrated with him and angry and all these things were coming up. And he ended up going to the hospital because he finally just passed out. And they're doing emergency surgery on him right now. I get so invested in this.
I'm so invested in what you're saying.
But can I just tell you, I don't know this guy. You know what? I'm going to look it up right now. Because I want everybody to know this guy's name. Thomas Bold.
What channel is it on? It's on cable?
It is on CBS.
Oh, okay.
His name is, hold on. Well, now they're giving me information about, I don't care what his character's name is. I know what that is. Let's see. Child actors. Okay. I think his name is Matthew Atkinson. I have to tell you, he is a phenomenal actor. I don't know why he doesn't act in movies. I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe you get stuck in the soap opera realm.
I think that's what happens.
But he is a fantastic actor, and he's so handsome. He's so easy to look at. But I'm telling you, this whole episode of having symptoms of a brain bleed, he needs to win some kind of an Emmy or something. I know they give Emmys to soap opera actors, so I have to recommend The Bold and the Beautiful. I'm gonna go out there and I'll
look him up.
I'm gonna come out of the closet and I'm gonna say I recommend The Bold and the Beautiful. Awesome. I have to, absolutely have to recommend it.
I love our random recommendations.
My weakness. So my weakness. Now you know.
My other random one, lentil chips.
Yum.
Lentil chips. It's called The Daily Crave, is the company.
Yum.
Changed my whole life. Lentil chips. Sea salt. I bought a huge box from Amazon.
Fantastic. I love any kind of chip that I can get that's healthier. I have a huge box that
comes now every month on the same day because I love them now.
Roger does that with Earl Grey tea.
You do.
I think it's so sad. It's so sad for him. I don't know. I don't like Earl Grey tea, but
I love Earl Grey.
It's so British.
Yeah, I like to pretend. I'll watch The Crown and.
See, I like green teas. So Earl Grey tea is like the antithesis of everything green tea stands for. But I don't know how I went on that tangent. But guys, watch Bold and the Beautiful. That's all I can say.
Queen's Gambit. You're not alone.
Lentil chips.
We love you guys.
I conceived in Lancaster.
Jungle Room. Amish Paradise.
Oh my God.
And on that note.
Bye guys. Happy holidays.
Bye.